Greetings and welcome back, gentles and ladiesmen, to another haydoxic episode of Donkey Kong Country 2 on Game Boy Advance. And so we're gonna pay Clubba 15 Krem coins and
Captain K. Rool treats us rotten. I hope you scupper his plans.
so that's actually kind of a neat little twist there, or kind of a neat little detail that, yeah, evidently not all of King K. Rool's minions are really agree with him or like him all that much. But here we have Black Ice Battle, which is, I think, kind of a fun stage. One thing I would recommend is because the GBA, it has a smaller screen size than the Super Nintendo in general, but especially vertically. And if there was ever any problem with visibility or screen crunch, it's definitely in a vertical sense. So I recommend dropping straight down in this level. I don't know, like I said, it's been a while since I played the original, and even though I've played it a million times, I don't remember everything about it off the top of my head. And I don't know, maybe it's a little bit easier to see what's directly below you, maybe it's not. At any rate, I would recommend dropping straight down and not moving, because like if I'd moved to the right, I would have hit those zingers. That's my flips tips on Adult Swim for you. So nab that guy over there, and I believe there is an O around here. Okay, this is one of the most obscure golden feathers in the game, right there. It's hidden underneath this clobber. So you gotta be careful not to miss that one. That clamp on down there has, I guess, an enemy-based scrapbook photo. Oh shit, biscuits. Well, looks like we get to commit seppuku, or hirikari as it is alternatively known. Because sorry. Down there is the bonus room for the stage, which, as I might remind you, contains DK coins in these stages, which was again really nice idea, because nobody wants to fucking play for a million more of these. Nobody wants to play for more Krem coins in the Lost World. I don't care what people say. It's something I hate about DKC3 so much. All right. Now we have this cannonball, and we can use this to get over here and kill all these zingers and get at this cannon right here. And using the cannon, we are teleported to a bonus room, which will contain our next DK coin. And that's what I meant when I said, remember, jump straight down, don't try to move in midair. And even then, I still got hit. And we'll just kill ourselves because we'd need the cannonball to try again anyway. So I guess, for as much as I complain about the Retro Studios games in these playthroughs, even these games are not perfect about it. There are times where you do have to kill yourself to try again in a bonus room, but as a general rule, you don't. And we'll go down this way just because it's easier, and I was missing that N the whole time. Kill this clobber. Recommend killing the flitter with him. You got him? Because one annoying thing that can happen is if you run into the flitter with that cannonball, it can drop on the ledge, and then because you're moving through it, you'll just drop to the platform below, and then the cannonball will be stuck up there. And unless if you have Dixie, you can't really get back up there. You know, unless if you have both Kongs to do the team-up move. Alright, let's try this again. Hopefully this time my confidence will increase. Because, you know, again, for the most part, I feel like the visibility in these remakes is pretty good, considering just how much smaller the GBA screen is. But, you know, still, it's not perfect. Sometimes things happen. I don't feel like it's a persistent enough problem to say that these games are ruined by screen crunch, the way that something like Sonic Genesis is. But Sonic Genesis has several other problems that kind of mutually reinforce each other, so it's, But By the way, gotta shout out this fantastic track. This is called In a Snowbound Land, and it was remixed in Tropical Freeze in the popsicle level. It's pretty neat hearing David Wise, rearrange one of his old tracks. And with that, we have collected our golden feather, and we can move on. And a fun fact, our gyrocopter is accessible via the pause menu, and you can use the gyrocopter as a quick way to leave the Lost World. Oh yeah, for a second there I thought I'd missed a bonus room. Yeah, we've only got a few stages left in this world, but coming up we have one of my favorites, which I found to be kind of frustrating the first time I played the game, but it's pretty well paced. It's a challenging stage for newcomers, I think, but it's not too terrible. Let's see, we got that Cruncha over there. So the gimmick of Slime Climb is, much like a later stage in the game, the water is rising as we're climbing up the rigging here. And so if you take too long, you'll fall into the water, and in the water is an enemy called the Snapjaw. Snapjaws, they're like the other Lockjaw enemies we've seen before, except they are much more aggressive, they are much faster, and the moment you land in the water, they're going straight for you, and they have a severely exaggerated biting animation that will more than likely hit you. So it looks like we're not getting our Kong letters in this stage, but that's okay. Over here we have an invincibility barrel, which allows us to go into the water with the Snapjaw and still survive. And we have our first bonus room for the stage, which is a pretty clever location for a bonus room, I've got to say. Grab these stars real quick, and that should do it. Yeah, Dixie makes that a joke, but those hooks are there if you're playing as Dinkle King, or Dornklecorn, Kranklevom. Insert absurd arrangement of noises here. I'll make sure we grab that. That's why I hate, what I kind of hate about click clacks is that when you jump on them, not only does it not kill them, but it can also bounce you backwards into something that you don't want to get hit by. Here we have our Zinger friends. And dodge them, got some flittery nose and the pepperoni. I believe there's something around here. Oh, crap. Like I told you, that's Snapjaw, he's a killer. Much like I'm gonna edit that out, because that could lead to some uninviting conversations. But at any rate, we have our next bonus room here. I believe that was a cannonball one, but I've already forgotten. You have a whole bunch of... I just realized I neglected to talk about this, but, obviously, one of the main mechanics of the Donkey Kong Country series is, that you can pick stuff up and throw them at other enemies. And this level, obviously... Well, the original game, it had steel kegs, it had regular barrels that rolled, and it had vine barrels that don't roll, that break instantly when you throw it at someone. And this game's a little bit different. So first off, you have crates, and crates shatter immediately, so they're basically like vine barrels. You have regular barrels coming back, which are the same as before, and then you have cannonballs with a K, which are multi-use, and basically kill anything that they touch, and sometimes they're used to activate cannons with a K.
Don't be nervous, we all want you to win, don't we, folks? That's right, they're all behind you. What can your snake buddy do that is special?
And what is jumps very high?
What is the name of the level with the anglerfish that lights your way forward?
That's Glimmer's Galleon.
What is the name of the big muscle-bound crocodile who guards the toll bridge?
That'd be Clubba. And that's it for first round. And you just got 2 more to go. These are especially useful in the original because, much like transition between the first one, the original game does not save your lives counter when you save your game. So whenever you restart, you just start with 5 lives. So, you know, these quizzes are a good way to rack up some quick lives. How many lives do you start the game with? And that would be 5. What button do you press to team up? That is the A button. Or R button, sorry. The A is the star. What is your rhino buddy's name? Ramby. Which, I wonder if that's like a reference to something. Oh, to like ramming things? I get it. I'm discovering all sorts of things that I really should have known already in this playthrough. What is the name of this area of the island? And that would be Kranky. What is your parrot buddy's name? Squawks, who we'll actually be seeing in the next stage. How many airplanes hang from the roof of Kong College? 4? No. Yeah, that's one of those ones that I always forget. So we'll just skip all the way back. And once you already know the questions aren't randomized, so if you already know the answers, it just amounts to... Alright, it was 2. So, see, the reason I thought it was 4 is because there's another question about Wrinkly's area that is about that. It's like another question about how many of this thing is in Kong College, and the answer to that question is also 2, so I figured, nah, it could be 2 for this one, could it? But here we have Sticker Bush Symphony. That is what it's actually called. It is not Sticker Brush, apparently. That's a mistranslation on the original soundtrack. It's supposed to be Sticker Bush, which makes sense because that's what, you know, these brambles are. Alternatively, you could call it Bramble Blast because that's the name of the stage. Let's see, I believe the K is down here, our special K cereal. But we still got good stuff. Seems like no, I did get the K. This level is very much about timing. I say as I miss the timing on very simple puzzle. That's what you even call it. Timing! Yeah, it's timing. That's what it is. And we'll go grab ourselves our K again, which is around here somewhere, I think. I know this level, it's cool and all that you have all this this neat little maze to solve, but it can be really annoying in some parts because there will be parts coming up where you have to where the maze gets a bit more convoluted, I guess, and you have to make sure to shoot in a correct direction, and sometimes I get a little bit trigger happy with my button presses, and that can, you know, that can have its problems, as they say. Alright. I will say, these are much better barrel cannon sections than anything in the first game, that I can tell you. Because the first game, I swear that the timing was a lot more specific in the first game as to when you're supposed to hit the buttons. Like here, they stop for way longer than you need to shoot, so you can just focus on trying to get where you need to go. I believe we have a bonus room down over here. And this can be kind of an annoying level to have to replay them for, so make sure if you're going after it that you are doing that. You do not miss this one in particular. This one is a maze, and we have a time limit. So this is one of the few bonus rooms in Donkey Kong Country 2 that's actually kind of challenging. That actually kind of expects you to hurry, but even then, like if you get in a bad rut with those, and you're going the wrong way, that time can get pretty tight. Or, you know, worst case scenario, you just try again. We got a banana coin up here, which is great because I'm going to be needing them, a lot of them, to get all these hints that I don't actually need because I've played this game too many fucking times. But, you know, there's really no such thing as too many times with this game. I really do think it's just as fresh and inventive as it was back in 1995. In many ways, Donkey Kong Country 2 set the standards for the modern platformer. You look over at like New Super Mario Bros. And you can see, doesn't have creme coins, but it does have star coins, which are kind of the equivalent idea. There are optional levels that you unlock by getting star coins. And you look over at Sonic, and even he's got, you know, the same thing going on with like the red star rings, so... I really do feel like Donkey Kong Country 2 was the first modern platformer, if that makes any sense, in terms of 2D games anyway. Just in terms of how the ideas that were first incorporated into this game then end up coming back in a lot of games nowadays. As you can see, we got that flitter there. And there is a hidden Squawks over here, so... Yeah, looks like I was right. I was thinking of a different stage when I said he'd be coming up next, but... Yeah, he is in this stage, technically. That one down there, maybe that is a bit obscure, but there is a banana trail going down to it, so it's not like... If you were to play this a second time because you missed something, you'd probably notice the banana trail and be like, wait, is it down there? For the most part, it's pretty good at signposting that kind of stuff. Alright. I guess the bonus barrel was off screen? No, that was bonus barrel. The logo just disappeared when I phased into it. Alright, you gotta be careful not to get ourselves killed. One thing I should note about the hitbox with this guy is it's pretty generous. Hitting Squawks himself against the brambles does not do damage, at least not in this version. And you can also, if you go all the way down to the floor, Squawks will hover above it. It's different when you actually transform into Squawks, which is a mechanic we haven't seen. Actually, we have seen it with Rattle Battle, Rattly stage, where you transform into Rattly himself. And yeah, in that case, it does... The hitbox does change for that. When you're transformed into Squawks, then it's a bit of a different story. So, wow, I'd actually finished this world quicker than I finished Crocodile Cauldron. But before we go, I almost forgot you have the Kranky minigame. Now, hypothetically, and you can do this, you can grab all the golden feathers in the entire game and then come back and do all the races all at once, but it's just like, where's the fun in that? I don't want to make them too easy, you know?
You think your fancy graphics and sound will work again? I think not. You'll be lucky to sell 10 copies this time. Take a look at this lot.
Alright, so we have, wow, a lot more than I thought. Oh, I didn't realize that you were allowed to do that. Okay. And we'll take one of those and put it on speed. So that's what we're gonna go with for this race. So I guess technically you're allowed to rearrange your stats however you want, whenever you want. I didn't know that. Bungle. I can't imagine being the intern that had to name all these guys. Alright, but we have higher speed and we have higher strength, so it should be able to, as you can see, it's much easier to walk through the enemies now. Or not the enemies, the other birds that we're racing. Like I said, the boost in flight only really determines how many of the power-ups you can hold. I don't think it affects how well the actual things work. So, yeah. So that's why I recommend going for speed and strength, because speed is going to help you go faster and strength's going to help make it easier to grab the power-ups at the start so that people aren't passing you up right out of the gate. And, yeah. Could be wrong about that, but it seems to be working for me so far. When I did my practice playthrough, I just went for balanced stats all the way around. As balanced as I could make them, with uneven numbers anyway. And yeah. And I missed that grain, and that's gonna come back to bite me in the butt. Hopefully I can make it to the end of the stage before they catch up with me. Yeah, I won. So yeah, that's the winning strategy right there, folks. Go for speed, go for strength. Because, you know, I find that generally when I'm getting the power-ups on the track, I'm using them right away, so... Yeah, so there's another DK coin for us. And now we can move on to the boss and finish off the world. And this part ended up being shorter than the last one, but that's only because the last one went on longer than I expected, because I wasn't paying attention to the timer I set. Go figure. But here we have Cudgel's Contest, which is a pretty simple boss, I'd say. He has a pretty predictable pattern. It's kind of a repetitive boss, actually, but... So he's basically a palette swap of Clubba. His gimmick is that he will jump around, and every time he lands, he will create a shockwave that will stun you long enough for him to jump again and land on top of you. Every time you hit him with the explosive barrels, he gets faster. You gotta be... But as you can see, that's pretty much all there is to it. Unless it doesn't count as a hit if he jumps on top of it for some reason. I don't know why. So make sure that you're standing close to the center. If you stand too close to him, he will swat at you with his club. So be careful about that. He's getting faster. They added that shockwave effect for the remake. That wasn't in the original game. The screen would just shake and then you'd stop moving, so there's kind of a nice little signpost there to let you know the jumping is what is causing your controls to fuck up just now. And once you hit him enough, I think 3 times, he'll go into... He'll switch up his strategy a little bit. He'll start doing King K. Rool inspired jumps like these, which will, similar to that fight, get faster and more... You know, he'll jump more often, is the point. So you gotta be careful, and at the same time, he's also got the shockwave thing going on, so if you're not being careful to jump, and you get to the later phase of the fight, and the shockwaves stun you, then he might be able to sneak in a hit on you.
This seems too easy. I hope you aren't cheating. You have to keep moving. DK's depending on you if you go to Crazy Kremland.
And with that, we have completed the Krem Key, and we are now heading on to one of my favorite worlds in the game, actually. But we're gonna be saving that for part 5. We'll come back in part 5 and we'll start up Crazy Kremland. Until then, I'm Exo, and I see you guys next time.